If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Devin Powell on the show. He's going to make his Bellator debut later on this month at Bellator 232. The second night of back-to-back cards at Mohegan Sun. He's going to be taking on Marcus Surin. What's going on, Devin? How are you?
I'm great, man. Just relaxing a little bit. Just, waiting to train again. So, just a vicious cycle. How about you?
Same old. One interview to the next. Got to pick up the kid. So, I'm not getting punched in the face or getting rolled around with or sweating profusely all day long. But, we all have our own challenges, right?
Yeah, very true.
Very true. It has been quite the road for you over the last couple of years to get to this point, from the UFC to Bellator. It's going to be your first fight in almost a year. How excited are you to just get back in there and just fight?
I'm super excited, man. I feel like, it's a lot to say there's no pressure, but I just feel like it's a lot different now because I for a little while I've only fought because of my passion I have for martial arts. I own my own MMA gym and I don't need to fight any longer. I truly enjoy it, so I keep doing it. But really, with the UFC, it was just like it was so hard to get fights, and I felt like there was so much pressure where it just had people breathing down my neck all the time. And now I'm fighting close to home, where I'm going to have hopefully close to 200 people that'll be there in the stands for me, and I'll actually see friends and family after. I'm going to be in a country where they speak English, unlike my last fight. I'm home, so, and it's just I don't have those same pressures. I don't feel like I'm under this like big corporate thing right now. I'm walking in with all my sponsors on my back, on my shorts and stuff again, which is huge, and it's still one of the biggest leagues in the world, so it's still exciting the same way. I didn't really want to go and fight in any local leagues or anything ever again. I just wanted to continue to be on top of the world if I'm going to do this at all. So I just feel like the pressures have gone down significantly, but the training, everything is just as hard. And my opponent, I feel like is right there caliber wise. So it's an exciting opportunity for sure.
Was there? I know, like a lot of fighters, like to get in a cage and fight somebody, you have to love it. Obviously you want to compete and do that, but you have to like have some love for the sport. Did you get to a point where you just stopped sort of loving MMA altogether? You were running a gym, so you probably enjoyed the coaching and the teaching aspect, but in terms of getting in there and actually fighting, was there sort of a breakup moment for you?
The thing for me is that I think I like martial arts more than most of the guys. Like, I'm the one that's always at the gym. The last 11 months, I've never been out of the gym. I'm still there 6 days a week. I still went to Joe Lozon's gym, every week. I still went to Skill of Strength every week. It's just like I just didn't know when and if I'd be fighting. I had so many injuries. I just went through a bunch of spinal injections for some disc issues and whatnot. The thing for me is like I'm kind of almost overdoing it. I'm just training so much. Camp comes along, it's almost like I like it less because I'm already training so frequently, and then my body's just shot from trying to do even more. So again, I don't really need the fighting aspect. I like the fight itself, and I'm already always kind of training like I'm in a fight camp. So it's not until the fights get close and it's like you have like a love-hate relationship with all of it, but I could, no matter what, like it's not like when I finally call it quits, I'm still going to be in the gym 7 days a week, or 6 days a week, because I actually enjoy the martial arts. I'm not the fighter that you have to drag into a jiu-jitsu class or to a Muay Thai class. Those are the things I love doing. Once it gets close to fights, that's when I start sparring again, because I'm trying to protect my brain so I can be in it lifelong, so it's just everybody's different. Some people are in it for the bright lights. I just think that I owe it to myself to show that I belong in that kind of position because I work so hard. But I'll always love the martial arts themselves, even whenever I kind of take the back seat and I watch everybody else on the big stage and help them get there. So
How crazy was last year for you? I mean, you made some waves for a reason no man wants to make waves for with the injury and the ruptured testicle. You get a you have a first round finish, then you lose a decision, and then you're no longer in the UFC. How would you describe 2018?
Oh man, it was awesome. Like I obviously it sucked rupturing a testicle, but I mean I got on TMZ, I got to talk to Jim Rome, I got on the Ariel Helwani show. Might have been the only reason I got another fight in the UFC. Even after my first two, like I uh I I almost didn't even get another fight. Like the first one was like I fought on the Dana White show. I broke my nose and I tore my MCL, and then before I was even like completely healthy, I was already in a camp for my first UFC fight. Had that one, had another one. Then it looked like they weren't going to be able to get me a fight. I called Sean Shelby and like kind of begged for another chance. And then I got hurt, with what we were just talking about, rupturing a testicle, which is awesome. Thanks to Joe Lozon. And then just 30-day camp came out of nowhere. They just said, "Hey, this guy needs a fight. Will he take it?" Absolutely. I tried to take a bunch. I tried to take Marcin Held on like 2 or 3 weeks notice in Denmark or like in Poland or something like that. I tried to fight Evan Dunham on like less than a month notice too. And that was right after I got cleared from rupturing a testicle. Like I kept just saying yes to anything. I'd hear somebody get hurt. I tried to hop in. All I really cared about was like proving that I was good enough to be there. Like I've had a couple bad nights. It is what it is. I had a finish inside that cage, and that's something that I'll never I'll never forget. It'll always be one of the best nights of my life. But like now we moved on from there. I had another fight, um, but after the Calgary fight, we complained about a bunch of injuries. I went and got checked out. I was in physical therapy, and then they called and told me, or actually they didn't call and tell me. We saw a Twitter notification saying that I was fighting somebody. So I talked to my manager Tyson. We're like, "Hey, what's going on here? Why does it say I have a fight?" And like, let me figure it out. He called, and I guess they offered it to another. They offered it to somebody, and they didn't ask me yet, and they announced it in some media source. So then I talked to him. I was like, "Hey, I'm in physical therapy for my back that the UFC put me in. Like, what do we do here?" And he's like, "Well, we kind of have to take it." It's like, okay, so I'm in physical therapy, trying to get ready for a fight with a bad back with two discs that are pushing on my spinal cord, and then the fight's right around the corner in Argentina. And then 1 week notice from the fight data, I have to tell my PT is like, "Listen, I need you to write clearance for me, even though you don't really believe in it. Otherwise, I can't fight." And I kind of have to fight. It's kind of the whole thing with like, just feel like you have like somebody breathing down your back all the time. Like it's just like now I kind of feel like I work for myself, even though I'm fighting for Bellator. I was told basically with the UFC, just like whenever I thought I wasn't gonna have a job after my first two, kind of the same thing. "Hey, we don't think we can get you another fight. If you want, go fight locally, and we'll bring you back because we like you a lot." And we're kind of just like, I don't want to do that. Like I can retire easily, but I'm gonna talk to Bellator because I was already talking to this guy Lee Hamilton, who's the photographer there, and they've always kind of liked me, and they had a lot of interest in. It was a super easy transition. It's just like, yeah, we'll definitely put you on. We'll get you close to home, and then boom, we just kept it going. But it was just 11 months of hard training, not knowing when I'd fight, and just like really actually taking care of my back with like the spinal injections and the lidocaine shots in my neck, just trying to fix some issues. And but here we are now. I'm less than 3 weeks out from another huge opportunity, and I call it the hat trick. I fought for World Series, I fought for the UFC, and now I get to fight for Bellator. So it's pretty cool.
When did you officially kind of lock yourself into a deal of sorts with Bellator? Like I know you have this first fight coming up in a couple weeks, but when did you guys like sit down, put pen to paper, and say, "All right, let's do this"?
So we'd been in talks, but nothing came to fruition. And then I got offered what was it? The same. I know it was the same night that Nick Newell made his debut. They offered me a fight that same night, but they gave me like a little less than 3 weeks notice. And I was just like, "Well, we need to take it, right?" And my manager's like, "No, we don't have to take it. That just kind of means that they're really serious about having you." And they actually offered me the same kid that I'm fighting now. So I was like, I wouldn't say I was all for it because obviously trying to make this big this new resurgence or whatnot. you want to have a full camp. As much as I've been training, it's like you want to focus on who you're fighting and like sharpshoot on stuff like that. And but really, it's like they offered me a shot, so let's just take it. But he's like, no, let's get a full camp. They'll give you another shot. And then sure enough, they gave me a full camp to fight the same guy, even closer. Actually, I think they're both Connecticut. This one's Mohegan. The other one I think is Connecticut as well.
That was Bridgeport.
Bridgeport, yeah.
So I'm sure he's probably happy that it got delayed, unless he's just like a super, because I think he's like 36 or 38 years old. He had just fought in June, so I think probably having the extra month or so probably made him happy too at the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't. I mean, we're supposed to be confident here, but I don't think that anybody should be excited about me having more time to get prepared to fight him. You know, I think I'm just going to be even more conditioned, even better. And yeah, it's going to be exciting. We're going to see. You know, I don't think he's fought anybody like me. You know, I think he's fought good guys, and he has an incredible pedigree wrestling, but it's been a while for him. I don't think he's fought anybody with jiu-jitsu or striking like I have. So, and I also think he's going to come forward. I've had a lot of guys run from me in fights, and it's just or try and waste time. I think he'll try and engage on the ground. So, I think it's going to be a fun night for sure.
You seem to have done your homework on Marcus. Did you know much about him when the name was presented to you?
No, I knew nothing, to be honest. I know so few fighters now. Like, I remember, I feel like when I was starting this out, like 12 years ago, like everybody knew every fighter. But now I feel like we don't really know all the fighters anymore. There's so many on all the cards that are just like, I know about a tenth of the people that are competing. So the Bellator rosters, I think it's just harder to watch the fights sometimes. So I didn't really know who he was, and then immediately watched some of his fights and figured out what his deal was. Figured out he was a D1 wrestler. He was the captain of his team for his senior year. You know, obviously a while removed, but still, that's something that'll stick with you forever. So, gonna keep that in our head and know that he's gonna have that strong wrestling. So.
In terms of the stylistic perspective of this fight, what advantages do you see yourself having over him? Like, obviously he's got the wrestling pedigree, but you know, when you look at it, X's and O's, you know, what advantages do you have? Like, what are your pros compared to his cons, so to speak?
I think my pros are that I'm going to have a lot more awareness on the ground. I think I have no problem if he does score a takedown. I really feel like I'm going to threaten a lot, and I don't know how comfortable he'll be sitting there. He's a brown belt under a Henzo. I don't know if it's the Henzo or just one of Henzo's gyms, but I think there's going to be a lot of attacks going on. He's not going to be able to just get me in full mount or take my back like that. I've seen him take these positions with guys that look like they don't know fundamental jiu-jitsu. He's fought some guys that are pretty good wrestlers that have actually taken him down a handful of times, but I don't think they have that fundamental BJJ to keep them safe in that kind of, those kind of positions once they start scrambling and stuff. So I think I'm going to really have the upper hand there. Plus, my kickboxing is going to be a problem for him. My Muay Thai, I'm long. I don't think he's fought anybody like me for length that's going to be able to hit him from that far. But yeah, it's going to be a scrap. I'm excited, man. I'm gonna get my hands on him, and we're just gonna see who's who, and what's what. It's gonna be a good night.
Got a big crew coming out. Sold a lot of tickets at this point.
Yeah, we sold a lot. I mean, everybody waits so long. We're hoping that we'll have at least 150 coming from mostly Maine and some New Hampshire. I'd like to see over 200 there, which would be cool. It's not like it's my backyard, but this is by far the closest I fought in a long time. The last time I fought sort of close was still 3 hours away, and that was in Bangor for the Dana White show. And then since then, it's been Oklahoma, Arizona, Calgary, and Argentina. So it's just been all over the place. So this is gonna be cool being this close.
Plus, at a casino for who doesn't want to go to a casino for a couple days?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. As long as I was saying I want to befriend the winner of the $1 million Grand Prix, so I can kind of hang with him at the casino after. I don't think Rory will be like that, though. He's I love watching that guy fight, but he's an interesting cat. Lima, I think, might be a little bit more, a little more wild on the tables, but yeah, and that's one of the things that's so cool is like people argue back and forth like Bellator, UFC, whatever. Where do you want to be? But like, there's no
doubting the fact that Rory probably hasn't made $1 million with all of his UFC fights combined. You know, like I bet he made. I mean, this is all just me saying, but I bet when he fought Robbie Lawler, which was one of the like scariest fights ever, he probably made less than $200,000. You know, for five. I think that was a title fight, right? I think it was
that was a title fight.
Was it the fourth or fifth round when he finally sat down because of his nose?
That was the fourth. It was heading into the fifth. They got stopped in the fifth.
Yeah, and he sat back, his nose was crushed, and then there's the floor cam of him rocking back and forth and fainting on the floor. It was one of the scariest videos ever, but like this is a chance for him to, after, I don't know, 5 or 6 Bellator fights, to fight for $1 million. Like that, the Grand Prix stuff's so cool to me. You know, what PFL is doing, what Bellator is doing. You look at somebody like Cowboy, he made $190,000 his last fight. Granted, he did lose, but still, like, that dude's fought under the Zuffa banner more than anyone ever. So it's like when they give guys that have that opportunity to make so much money after just like a short stint in an organization, that's so cool. Just like PFL with the guy that's doing some announcing now, Sean, I believe, something.
O'Connell.
Yeah, I mean, the dude goes in there after getting cut from the UFC and makes $1 million, like just a couple fights, and then boom, a millionaire. It's crazy. Plus, good paychecks leading up to that. So, I like seeing these big opportunities come up for people. I like seeing people like Miles Jury went over to Bellator. Cyborg's in Bellator now. Obviously, had a feud with Dana, but I like seeing all that stuff. I like how well ONE FC is doing, and I have there's no reason that I wouldn't ever go back to the UFC if things aligned. Like, I don't have a problem with them. It was definitely a stressful time, but it's not like I was ever like, F this guy, F that guy. You know, I had a shot. I didn't do as good as I'd want. I know I'm better than what I showed then, but I mean, I have a golden opportunity to fight in front of family now, and who knows, if I do good enough and I keep fighting, like, maybe I'd be considered in the 155 run for the Grand Prix whenever that happens, if it happens. I'm sure it will. You know, they got some superstars that are at 55. You know, they want Chandler in there. They want Pitbull in there, I bet, after he maybe wins the 45 one. So who knows? You know, I don't even need to fight. I just enjoy it. I've taken care of myself pretty well. I preserve my brain as much as I can. I still feel like I have good timing, sparring whenever I do go. I've been sparring with Joe Lowe's on this camp, and we've been doing hard rounds. I feel really good, and he does too. I'm really excited. I hope this is that's one fight that, like, I just want Joe to do good so bad. Everybody is pulling for that guy. Everybody loves him. He does so much for everyone in the Northeast, and I think he gets good credit, but man, I don't think people can understand how much he gives to people. People from all over the Northeast go to that kid's gym, and they get the best training in the world. It's like our version of American Top Team, because all the gyms come together. We feel like one team while we're there for some like team training or cross training, whereas those guys have this gym bigger than Walmart where they're just always together all the time. We really need to do that stuff to be competitive with the big names, you know. So I just feel like everything's falling in line. I'm doing everything right. I'm training at the right places with the right people, and I just want to get this opportunity over with. Kind of. I just wanted to be here. I want to get locked up, and I want to enjoy some ice cream after.
Will you be at the Garden next week?
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be up in a box watching all those guys, man. I'm super excited. I'm torn. I don't want to say I'm torn, because like Charles Rosa is I would consider him like a brother. He has given the shirt off his own back, as well as his father, Chucky Rosa. Chucky's fight does so much for everyone. I stayed with Charles to train an American Top Team for over a month. Didn't ask a thing of me. I just went out there. And then I've just known him for 12 years or so almost. And Manny, I love that dude too. I wish they weren't fighting, but I'm so excited to see Charles back. But then we get Costa and Bokniak, Lozon, dude, so many guys. I wish Spicely was still on there, but there's a lot of guys.
And Cater.
Sure. Cater. Well, Cater got pulled.
I know.
So he's fighting in Russia
tomfoolery going on there, my opinion.
I'm super excited for that. But I mean, it sucks going from hometown to somebody else's hometown, but whatever, shut him up in his own land. It'll be it's gonna be huge for him.
Yeah, I think the Bermudez Rosa fight makes like no sense. Like, I'm glad, like, it's a great fight. Those two are gonna like bring it. It's gonna be an awesome fight. But in terms of like where the fight's happening, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's ironic. Charles, every time he's won, it's been at TD. But every time it's also been a local guy. Like he fought Bokniak.
Yep.
Bokniak fought CES, and then Charles's opponent fell out. And then with 5 days notice or so, Bokniak made a really quick turnaround to fight the following weekend at TD Garden. That's how he made his UFC debut. And then he also fought Sean Soriano, who I believe is a local guy, but now he's at like the Black Zillion Placer with Henry Hoof. Is that his name, Sean Soriano?
Yeah, he's at Hard Knocks now. Yeah,
Soriano.
Yeah,
I think he's down there now. But I thought he was from around here. I'm pretty sure he was. He's fought for CS a handful of times and stuff.
Yeah, he's from Rhode Island. Yeah, he's a Rhode Island guy, I think.
Yeah, so he just keeps getting guys that like. I wish he'd get like Seaver, bringing him down here. Then like he went to wherever Seaver's from for his debut. I'd like to see him actually have a hometown advantage, like Boston strong, but he's always fighting guys that are local as well.
Yeah. It's an interesting piece of matchmaking, but in terms of your fight, you're fighting a week after Joe, a little more than a week after Joe. How do you see this all going down?
He hasn't been finished before, but I don't think he's fought anyone like me before. I don't think, I think he's going to have to try and hold me down for 15 minutes for him to have any chance. But I don't think he's going to be able to do that. I find myself finding a sub or catching him on his feet for sure. 15 minutes to get it done, but through hell or high water, get my hand raised. That's it. That's all I can do.
And before we let you go, with your relationship with Bellator, your business relationship with Bellator, is this just a one fight thing, or are you signed up for multiple fights right now?
I'm not signed up for anything but this fight. As far as I know, Tyson Chartier is the best manager around with top game management, and he does everything. He figures out the fights, figures out where we should go. I just kind of sign contracts and shake babies. That's a joke, but he tells me what we're doing, and I always confide in him because that's what you should do if you have a good manager. Just trust him, and in Tyson we trust, and then just train hard. That's my job: train hard, cut the weight, and then get in there and get the job done.
Do you want to stick around? Like if you go out there, have an impressive performance, and Bellator says, "Hey man, we want to sign you to a 4-fight deal," typical to kind of what Nick Newell just got. Is that something you'd be open to, or do you not want to really tie yourself down at all? Because just take it as they come.
No, man. I think again, when I was saying like they're doing that cool tournament stuff, I think that's the best look to have a huge opportunity like that. And when I know I'm on my last run, like that would be an opportunity to make it really count. So I would definitely be down. It's I feel like I have a lot more freedom of expression there, and I'm just like a weirdo. I like bright, colorful clothes. I'm covered in tattoos. Like I'm gonna be wearing some shorts that have like Godzilla and a giant robot on them and stuff. Like that's me, So I'm excited for that opportunity. And plus, if I do get a longer contract, if I fight later in the night one day, I'll actually maybe be able to roll my pig Phoebe out with me on my walkout. That'd be the coolest thing ever.
That'd be the best thing ever. That would beat Israel Adesanya and what he did on stage.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely can't dance, so that'd be my only chance.
Oh man, Devin Powell, everybody getting ready for a big fight on October 26th at Mohegan Sun. Thank you for the time, man. Before I let you go, let the folks know where they can find and follow you on the web, social media. Hello, Grayson. And anything else you want to get off your chest? The floor is yours.
No, I'm good, man. I appreciate it. It's always nice to kind of have a platform to say some stuff. But my I think my Instagram's Devin Powell _ Nostos MMA. You find me pretty quick. I got one of those fancy little blue guys on it. I think the same thing for Twitter. It's like Devin Powell MMA or something. And then the Facebook, I get a lot of weirdos on there, so I'm at the 5,000. But every once in a while, I pop up with a chance to add somebody. But I got like several hundred people that are just like sitting in the queue. So I think Instagram and Twitter are the best option. But yeah, that's it. If somehow you're looking to go to Bellator, you don't know me too well, but if you want to pop in the word Powell in the code, that would do me a solid. So, yeah. Or hit me up. I have a ton of tickets. We just finished our Pig Father shirts. It's a parody of The Godfather with me sitting with my pig Phoebe. Pretty dope. So
Man.
That is awesome. Thank you for the time, Devin. All the best to you for the rest of camp,
Yeah.
and we'll see you at October 26th.
you got it. Have a great night. Later,
Thanks,
guys.
brother.
Bye-bye.
All right, dude.